conditions at a time when the program is gets runs. Alright, so now let me show you a syntax to this, switch to the syntax. See that guys, alright, so we have to write a switch in the sense we have a keyword for Java programming, as like if is a keyword, else is a keyword, whereas switch is also one of the keyword of Java programming, followed by pass something as an input. This input is something, call it as a variable name, you can pass it as an input, or you can also call it as sometime expression also, but better to write a variable name. And again you can just see here case is a keyword, followed by you just need to have a value there, right? You need to write some value. If the value is matches, it get execute the code which is presented the statements over there. Alright, so then as soon as you have to come with one more statement here, break statement. Actually break is one of the jump statements in Java. What happened with this break statement is, as long as this break statement is not executed, the control is in your loop. For example, when the break statement is executed by any compiler, I mean to say C compiler, C++ compiler or Java compiler, whatnot. So as soon as it get executed, your control directly comes out of this particular statement is nothing but it start executing the statements which is presented after immediate next line of this, right. So what happened is, if this case is not matched, imagine that the case is what you have written here, it is not matched, then directly your control go back to the second case, execute the statements, and it will again have a break statement. Like this, you want to define a multiple conditions with your switch statement, you can define it. And after that, if no condition is satisfied, as like if else statement, if else ladder statement, there is a last else block, right? This is similar to last else block, default, nothing but all cases are wrong one by one, directly control comes here and execute the statements which is presented in this default, and directly it goes to a break. As soon as your break is executed, simple as that, your control will be out of this particular switch statement is. Yes, am I very clear guys? Please note it down the syntax so that I am going to show you how the flow of the switch statement is. The flow of a switch statement is simple as this. Yes, you have an expression here. Expression is followed by number of conditions. I mean to say number of cases here, case 1, case 2, case 3. Like that I can write a number of cases here. If any of these cases got satisfied, the respective statements which is presented here, that will be get executed. Alright. So for example, if case 1 is executed, the statements will be executed. As soon as executed, the control directly goes to the end of this particular switch statement is. I mean to say that your control will start executing the other statement after this switch statement is presented. Imagine that your case 1 is wrong, then your control goes to case 2, executing the statements which is presented under the case 2. Then directly it goes to the end of this particular program, execute the statements which is presented here. I mean to say that if case 1 is wrong, it goes to case 2. If case 2 is wrong, it goes to case 3. Like this, it will have a number of cases here, all the cases will be get checked. As soon as the all cases are got checked, then you have a last one as default. Default in a sense, all of these cases are wrong, then the default case will be executed. If you put any statements here, that kind of statement get executed and it directly come out from this particular loop is. Yes. To understand more clear on this particular example, I am going to show you with a simple example for a switch statement. Yes, the first thing is I am going to write an import and followed by I have a Java dot a package name called lang. It is a default package which required for my program. Right, another package I am importing, that is package name is util, the class name is scanner class. Yes, I recommended you guys, if you are not aware, represents you, because as it object oriented programming, because as we are not introduced object oriented concept, but still Java is object oriented programming, everything has to be represented with a classes and objects. Maybe you get it out that why Mr. Anil is writing everything in the class. That's pretty simple as that. Java is one of example. Alright. Yes, and this program what I want to do is I want to check, okay, so first thing is user will enter, right, a character. User will enter character here, and after this character, you as a programmer, what you need to do is, programmer, you need to test whether input character is vowel or consonant. Yes. So this is for this particular requirement. I just want to show you this program with this particular requirement is. Am I very clear? So what will happen is, through a keyboard, user will try to enter a character to your program, and that program has to evaluate that character, and after evaluating that character, you need to give a message that whether it is vowel or a consonant. If it is vowel, you need to give a message as entered character is an vowel. If not, you need to give a message as entered character is a consonant. Yes, how does it is possible? Let me show you the screen again. Alright, so now let me switch to this particular thing. I just want to write one method within this particular class. The class name method called a string, alright, main method. We have a separate session for methods concept. Now at that moment, I'm going to discuss again about this main method. By the time, please remember that every program of Java will be defined with a main function, because the execution process of every program will start from this particular method. Alright. So now I'm going to define a variable called character, because our input is character, right? Char is a keyword here. Your char is a keyword followed by ch is a variable name, or you can call it as identifier name. Yes. So I just want to name it something, call it as println. I just need to say that enter a character. Alright. So I ask him to user to enter the character. Before you enter the character, you need to write a scanner class object, right? You can just see that you can just write a scanner class object. Now this scanner class object is trying to read a character. How does you need to read the character? We have a object dot next is a method. Okay, please recall the methods which we have already discussed in earlier days. Okay, we have discussed some kind of scanner classes, right? So please look after your notes or something like that. You have a method called to read a character. Please look at that once, right? What method I have to use in this particular program? Check it out, everyone. What kind of method I have to use in this particular class, right? So if a method is about a scanner class method, which method I have to use to read a character? See that, which method I have to use? Next int we have discussed. Next int is for what purpose? To read that particular input of your application, which is of what? What method I have to use in this? Alright. So you have a method called next, which is used to return a simple input format. Okay, so I'm going to show you that slide again for you, right? Please check it out. There is a few methods I have to discuss now. Alright. So one method I was being perfect here. The method name is called it as nextInt. This nextInt method, what it will do is it reads an integer value and it is giving an input here. But what is our requirement is? Our requirement is read a character. What method I have to use? There is a two methods you can use here. That is method name called next method or next line method. Alright, you can also use one more method apart from this. You can also use one more method, call it as next char also. This is also a method which returns you a character, right? Store in a variable called ch. Yes, try to save this particular program, right? So now the program, I'm giving the name of this particular program as a switch example. Save this particular program, switch example, extension of this program is .java, and try to save. Now I'm saving every program in this particular D drive and the folder name called Java programming. In this particular folder I'm reading it. Okay, so now save this particular program. Is as soon as if you save this program, go to command prompt, right? Go to command prompt. First you need to switch your command prompt to the directory where you are currently working on. Yes, so I need to move it to the drive. Alright, so now let me save clear the screen. Alright, so now I need to switch it to the folder called Java programming. in this particular Java programming, I do have a particular program which I want to execute right now. What is that particular program now? A switch example. Where is that switch example folder? Yes, you have a file name called switch example.java file here. So this example you need to execute now. How do I execute it? First I need to compile this, right? Switch example.java. Yes, it takes a couple of seconds time to compile your program, and you can see that here next char again will have an error here. Yes or no? Alright. So this next char is a method which is not able to accept your input. Alright. So instead of this, what I want to do is I do have another methods for this. Okay. So right now I don't have any method for character, right? Do I have any method for character here? No. So that what I'll do is, instead of reading the input from the user, I do directly give some character value which is something say A. Okay. After this I'll change the random value. By the time just go to this example. Alright. So as soon as that the example is finished, I'll show you one more example now, right, which read the value particular character. Now save this particular program. Again you can go to a command prompt, right. You can just compile your Java program now again, switch statement dot example dot Java. Now your program is got compiled successfully. Yes or no? So what I want to do is, I'll just change this particular character to be also have some random value, but right now it is a constant value, right. I am directly defining that particular variable value in my program itself, right. Wait for a few seconds time, or wait for after this example, I am going to show you one more example how to read a random character value from the command screen. Am I very clear, guys? Alright. So now what I want to do is, I want to write a switch statement. Input I want to pass it as a variable name, right. This input variable name, so what I need to do is, I need to test the case. Instead of checking for all consonants, I can check for all vowels, because vowels are only 5, right. If it is not all this 5, then nothing but the character whatever you have entered compulsory, that would be a consonant. Okay. So now what I want to do is, I want to write some statement here, that is something called println, say that entered character is vowel. So I just want to write this particular message. If you enter the character as A, then again you just break this, and followed by case, it's something called it as E, right. Here it is colon sign, not semicolon. Okay. System dot out dot println, say that entered character again is also vowel, right. And again I need to give some kind of a break statement here, followed by how many vowels we have? A, E, I, O, U, right. Say that system dot out dot println, say that entered character is again vowel. Alright. So then again I need to write some break statement here. Case A, E, I, next O, right. Say system dot out dot println, say that enter character is again vowel. Alright. So then I need to break this particular character. Last one is A, E, I, O, U. Alright. So now let me say system dot out dot print and say that entered character is again also vowel. Alright. Hope you guys are following, right. So try to follow the things whatever I am trying to write here. Alright. So now your switch, I mean to say that the character whatever you have entered, rather than this A, E, I, O, U, all other characters are what? Consonant. So that I'll put it all these things into a default. System dot out dot println, say that entered character is consonant. Yes. Now I do close it, and I need to write some again a break statement here. Am I very clear, guys? Please check it out, this program. It is pretty simple program. to demonstrating you on your switch statement. Okay. So, now just wait for a few minutes time, and I will also let you know how to read this particular character through a random input. Okay. So, now I am giving a static value, right. Instead of that I am also give you to read the character from input. Now, instead of that you need to change some other strategy, then I will let you know that. Okay. Am I very clear, guys? Yes. Do save this particular program. What is the input you have given here? You are giving the input as A, nothing but what is the output you need to get? You need to get the output as entered character is OL. For example, imagine that your input is something, say S. Imagine that your input you are entering as S, any character which has to be enclosed in single quote. In this case, what I need to get here, I need to give a message as entered character as consonant. See that, guys, if this particular lines, these two slashes will represent you that it is a comment lines. Comment lines in the sense the lines of programs will not be considered as the statements of your program. Nothing but it is just a dummy, nothing but for your representation whenever you want to write your program to be perfect and someone want to understand this program is perfectly, then you can use the comment lines. So, comment lines is the lines which give you the program clarity, it will give you your program in very detailed clarity. Am I very clear, guys? So that whenever you are trying to give your program to your friends or your professors or whatever it is, so whenever you are giving it, so try to write with the comment lines, nothing but I am defining a variable, why I am defining this, okay, this is a requirement, so that I am defining this particular variable. I am writing the switch statement, why I am writing the switch statement I am writing for to test the character whether it is vowel or a consonant. All these things I just want to check with this particular switch statement, so that I am writing it. If I am passing an input as A, then it has to be output as character is vowel. If I am entering the character is S, then I need to give a message as entered character is a consonant. Yes, am I very clear, guys? Alright, save this particular program and go to a commands prompt again. Yes, compile your program once, because I have done changes here, then I can say Java followed by a switch example, alright, to execute your program, right. Just execute your Java program, and what is the message it is showing here right now? Your message it is showing that entered character is a vowel, because this is a case is got satisfied. So, the moment the case is satisfied, then the rest of the statements which is presented here, that will be executed. As soon as this statement executed, you could find here something called break statement here. The break statement, as the moment the break statement is executed by any compiler, directly it goes to out of the switch statement here, nothing but wherever if you have any statements here, imagine that if I have some statements here, right. So, these statements will be executed now. If not, then automatically your program gets stops now. For example, I do change my input, instead of A, I will change it as S. Okay. So, if I say entered character is S, what is the message I need to give, whether it is small s or uppercase S? In both cases, what is the message you need to give? It is something called it as, you need to give a message called it is consonant. Now, let me check that whether your program is giving that output or not, right. So, what is the message it is getting, showing you for you right now? Entered character is a consonant, nothing but your message is coming from this part, nothing but the cases which is presented in this particular program. Case A not satisfied, case E not satisfied, case I also not satisfied, case O is also not satisfied, case U also not satisfied, and all these are not satisfied, nothing but is there any default here? Yes, I do have a default statement here. So, this as soon as all cases are wrong, your default is executed, then you can get this message as system.out.println, and it gives you the message called entered character is consonant. Now, let me check about the particular program. If I am enter this character as capital A, right, actually capital A is a vowel, but what is your program is giving an output? Let me check it, let me show you that. Yes, now I do change this input also, I do change the input as capital A, but capital A comes under vowel, but what is your program is giving your output? Alright. So, the program which is giving you output here, that is something called switch example. Alright. When you execute it, what is the message you are getting here? You are getting a message called entered character is a consonant. But is it correct answer? No, because see that as you are giving this program to a person who doesn't know anything, he's just a kid, because you are giving this program to a person who, I mean, like your friend, your brother kid or sister kid or someone. So ask him to enter some character, so that you need to show some magic to him. Nothing but he will sometime enter a small a, so that your program is giving some message that it is oval, so that that kid will be get satisfied, he will laugh. But as same as that, he will enter capital A now. But his teacher has taught him that capital A is also oval, but your program is giving a message that your program, which is something called it as, you can say, supposed to say, you can say that it is a consonant. Now, anything wrong with the program now? Let me check it once again. Go back to the screen once again. Now, you can just say, check it out here, capital E. Now, do you have written any cases for this? You have written the cases for only small case characters, not for uppercase characters. Yes or no? Have you written anything here? No, you have not written anything. You have just written for only small case character, but not for uppercase character. Yes or no? When you want to write it, you have to write again 5 more different cases to add into this particular program. Nothing but case capital A, case capital E, case capital I, case capital O, case capital U. All these cases you need to add into the same program, so that your program will be a perfect, so that if any person enters any character from a keyboard, then it just give you the message as your program, or your particular program give you a message as whether it is oval or consonant. Maybe people will get a doubt that, for example, if someone is entered a special characters, what will be happiness? If you're trying to enter any special character to this particular program, compulsory your program will give you a message that it is something called it as consonant only. So what in that case what you need to add is, you need to add something more to this particular program, so that what will happen is your program has to return with some special kind of characters like @ sign, a dollar, or hash. All these things you have to put all the different cases. If someone is trying to enter with this particular formats, you need to write something called it as you have entered something called special character from your keyboard. Am I very clear, guys? Alright. Nothing but what is your task is, your task once you completed this program, you have to extend this program for little more larger. Nothing but you have to add all uppercase characters. Along with that, you have to add some kind of character, something like a special character. Sometimes it is digit, you need to add the digit. Nothing but your program becomes a little lengthy. Right. So if you don't worry if your program becomes lengthy. So I'll try to decrease this program in the next coming days time. I mean, right, so that try to write this program, keep it with you. In the next coming days, I'll let you know that if you are writing this, then how could I decrease over there. Am I very clear, guys? Alright. Now let me go back to the screen again now. Yes, these are the different views I have added here. Alright. So one more example I'm going to show you. Right now I'm going to show you one more example with a integer format. Yes. Right. What is the mean of integer format? I'm going to add here, and now let me show you that. Yes. So what I'll do is, right, requirement of this particular program is, what is the requirement I have? The requirement of this particular program is, as a user will enter 2 numbers. Right, 2 numbers, nothing but any integer numbers. After that your program need to show the list. What is the list it need to show here is, it need to show the list as, if you press 1, the output is addition of 2 numbers. For example, if you enter 2, your program will give you subtraction of 2 numbers. If I am giving 3, your program need to give output as cross multiply of 2 numbers. If I am giving an input as 4, it has to give a division of 2 numbers. If I am enter the number as 5, then I need to give a message as it is modular division of two numbers. Am I very clear now? See that what is the requirement of this particular program is, first is user will enter two numbers. After that user need to show all the list of the characters here. If you press all these things, now user will enter the choice here. User will enter the choice here. Once the choice is entered, either 1 or 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, once you entered it, and according to that you need to show the particular operation there. So if you are showing the plus, it has to be addition, subtraction, all these things. You guys are clear on this example, right? What I am trying to do is nothing but, first thing is, as a user you will enter the two numbers to your program. Yes, I will enter the number as 10 or 20 or whatever it is. I will enter the two numbers to my program. After entering the two numbers, then I will show him a list of lines of code. Nothing but what is this list of lines of do is, this list of lines which shows you that if you press enter 1 from your keyboard, I will give an addition as an output for you. Alright. So if you enter 2, number 2, then it has to give an output as something kind of subtraction. If you enter 3, I will give an output as multiplication of two numbers. 4, division, 5, modular division. All these 5 operations I want to show the list. After that, I will ask to the user to enter your choice. So user will enter the choice like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, any choice. If a choice is 1, then I have to show me output as compulsory addition of two numbers. If enter number as 3, I need to show the output as multiplication of two numbers. Am I very clear with the requirement of this particular program? Yes, obviously. So for that, I do need to write a simple Java program to complete the task. In this example, I am going to use something kind of a switch statement for this also. Yes. Now let me show you the slide again once, screen again. Yes. So first thing is, I do import a Java package, that is your lang package, that is a default package for me, and then I need to write java dot a file name called util and one more class name called a scanner class. Yes. Now I do write a class, one more thing I will write here, class name always starts with an uppercase, switch example 1 I am writing the particular class name. Okay, previously I was showing you one more example, and this example I am going to show you one more example. And this particular class required one static method void string args. Alright. So in this particular thing, first I do declare the two variables here. Say do variable name is number 1 and one more variable is number 2. Two variables I am defining here to read the two numbers. So when I am reading these two numbers, how do I read it? Okay, first I need to write one scanner class object, right? I need to write one scanner class object to read a application read input. So what I will do is I will ask him the user to enter the number, say enter two numbers. Yes, ask him to enter the two numbers. First one is number 1 is equals to, first I need to write next int. Okay, so there are the few chances you can do it, right? First thing is it will read you the first number and it will goes to the second line, it will read you the next number there. Next int, two more variables I am reading here, two values I am reading here. As soon as when you read these two values, I want to show a list, right? So here what is the list I want to show here is print ln. Okay, so I do want to write some simple thing. Alright, so now I just write it as system dot out dot print ln. Say that I asked him to user if enter 1, if you enter 1 for example, so the output is addition plus sign. I just want to show you the plus sign there. So that nothing but output is addition of two numbers. Alright. So now one more line of code I will write here, system dot out dot print ln, right, say enter 2 for what purpose? If you enter 2 to this particular program, your output is subtraction of 2 numbers, alright. Say system dot out dot println, say that enter 3, for what purpose I will enter 3 for this particular thing, I will just say that it is cross multiply of 2 numbers. Yes, again I will write one more line of statement here. Alright, so if I say 4, what is the 4 has to be give output? 4 has to be division of 2 numbers, and the next one is 5, right? It is modular division of 2 numbers, right? Hope you understand now. Now let me show you the output up to this first of all. Okay, write it as system dot out dot println. Alright, your list will be shown in this particular way now. Yes, now I am trying to save this particular program now. So the program name is switch example 1. Save this particular program in the same directory, and extension of this particular program is .java, and try to save all the files into the same directory. Now go to command prompt. Now check it out, the file where you are looking for. I am looking for the file name called switch example1.java now. Yes or no? I am looking for the file name called switch1 example. Now let me clear the screen once. Now let us see Java C followed by switch example1.java. You can see that the file name is switch example, previous example program, and the one which is of current example value. Now let me compile this particular program, right. So now you can just see that again there is something new scanner class. Okay, so maybe some maybe something wrong in your in our program now. Not applicable. Alright, so now what I need to sorry, I just forgot something here. I need to pass the input, system input as a input for this particular program now, right. So I just forgot that, right. So see that previously scanner class input required some system.in, right. System.in, one of the member need to write here. Okay, so I just forgot to write that, so that's the reason it is giving me that error now. Alright, so the program is got compiled successfully, and you can just execute that particular program, switch example 1. Alright, so when you execute this particular program, Java followed by switch, yes, it is asking for 2 numbers, say 10 followed by one more number is 3. So see that as soon as if I enter the 2 numbers, for me our program is displaying some list of lines of code here. See that it is showing that if you enter 1, it would be addition, 2 subtraction, 3 cross multiplication, 4 division, 5 one more thing, and here I will enter my choice here. Now I need to extend my program, right. I need to enter the choice. If I enter 1, so that for my program has to show me compulsory addition of 2 numbers, nothing but what is output I am expecting, 10 plus 3, 13 supposed to be output. For example, if I enter the number as 3, nothing but it is cross multiply of these 2 inputs, nothing but 10 cross 3, the output is supposed to be 30. Yes or no? Alright, now let me ask to the user system.out.println, asking a user to enter your choice, enter your, right. You can just say that enter your choice. So now as soon as when a user is trying to enter, and there is one more integer value, because all are integer numbers right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and all this 5. All these 5 are integer numbers, so that I will take me one more variable here, that is something called it as say options, OPT, right. So this is one more integer variable I am defining here. Okay. So how do I read this particular thing? Object, again you can have a method called nextInt, will read you again integer format, which stores you in a variable called this one. Yes, now your program is able to read your choice also. Am I very clear now? After reading your choice, I do construct a switch statement passing an input as option, close this, alright. So now what I need to do is, if user is entered number as 1, see that I am expecting user has to enter 5 different numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I enter the number 1, so what is the output you need to give? System.out.println, what is the output I need to give? Addition, right? Addition of 2 numbers is equals to, I will add the addition. What is the addition I need to add? The number 1 plus number 2. You can directly give the output from number 1 and number 2. Then I need to break this particular case. Yes, understood everyone? Alright. So now let me take you to one more case here. One more case is what? Case number 2. So if I enter, someone is unexpectedly entered the number 2, what is the output you need to give? System.out.println. For example, if you looks it is bit difficult, I can do one thing for you. Alright. So I'll do write one more variable here in this particular program, that is something called it as result. So what I'll do is, before I'm printing this particular value, if your looks a bit difficult, I'll say that your result is equals to number 1 plus number 2. And here I do remove this if you are feeling bit difficult, right. So directly I'll add here result. Okay, nothing but I'm taking one more extra variable in my program. That extra variable I'm trying to write, and the extra variable value which is of result value here. Am I very clear, guys? Alright. So now, I mean, if you feel a bit burden, alright, no, not required if you are not feeling that. Number 1 minus number 2. Yes. So what I need to give output? System.out.println. Say that it is subtraction of 2 numbers. How do I print it? Again I need to write result to it. Then after that I need to break this particular statement. Yes. Again let me show you a case. Cases always have a colon, not a semicolon. If you, unfortunately if it is semicolon, then that would be an error of your program, guys. Say that case number 3, result is equals to, say, number 1 cross number 2, nothing but you are trying to make multiplication of 2 numbers. Again I do print this result now. Once this result is printed, I need to break particular case now, right. So then I can go for case number 4. It is a result of number 1 division by number 2. Then what is the output I need to give here? Output is again result variable. I need to give the break for this particular thing. And case number 5, right. So result is equals to number 1 is modular division by number 2. Hope you understand what is the difference between a division as well as modular division. I was explaining you in earlier classes, right. So please look after if someone is confused with this particular, this operator what it will do, and the other operator called this one what it do is. Yes. Then last I do write a default case. Here what is the default case I am writing here is system.out.println. I need to say that, say if someone is entered rather than this, I can say that it is invalid choice. Alright. So I just need to give some kind of invalid choice and then say break. Yes. Understood everyone, guys? See that seeing this program will not give you anything. If you just look, this program won't give you anything unless or until if you do practice about this example. As soon as if you practice this example for multiple times, so that you will get a very good idea how to have a new thoughts. Yes, that is what most important. So now let me save this program and again show you the screen once again. Alright. So please show the screen once again. Alright. So now just do compile this particular program. Switch example1.java is a file name. Compile this particular program. Alright. So somewhere we gone wrong. So that would be, I guess, instead of semicolon we put somewhere colon. So let me check it where is exactly it is. Okay, so it is line number 29, maybe somewhere here. Error expected, semicolon, colon sign, semicolon, semicolon, followed by semicolon, right. So, all right, so everything is perfect. So, again to compile it once again. Oh shit. Okay, so I just forgot to put this one. Okay, so this way, I mean to say that when you practice all these things, you will get it right. So again need to change here multiplication. All right, so again I need to change here division. Yes. Okay, so this kind of errors you will only get whenever you practice it much. Okay, modular division. Okay, save this particular program. Again, do compile this program. Now, mostly I have removed all my errors of this particular program. Java followed by switch statement example 1 I want to execute now, right. So, now let me execute it, asking for two numbers 10, 3. It's showing me a list of this, right. So, now I will enter the number as 3 here. It has to show me output as what? 30. Yes or no? See that enter the number as 3, it has to show me a cross multiplication. It is showing the multiplication at 30. Now, let me show you one more example, say 10 and 4, asking for example, I am asking for something say 2. So, what is the output I need to expect? I need to expect the subtraction as 6, right. Hope you understand this example, guys, everyone. Yes. So, that is about the switch statement, guys. Okay, so please practice all the examples what we are discussing in every day. So, actually there is something has to be discussed, something like what are the differences between your if else statement and switch statement. Yes or no? Most people are get it out that if else ladder is also working same and your switch statement is also working same. So, what are the differences? Okay, so need to discuss the differences, but today by the time up. All right. So, now I am making this to a next class. Okay. So, that is the reason we will see in the next session. All right. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day. All right. Practice, practice, practice every day. Right. Right. By the way, I am Anil Kumar, the trainer of APSSDC.